Welcome back to our second episode of our podcast. It's only been 6 months, but better late than never. We have a lot of great things to talk to you guys about today, including our 7 months on the road, how we managed to do that without spending, or we spent a little bit, but we spent very minimal money, and new career updates, new life updates, and then we're going to talk about what's next, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, so start talking because I have no idea what the first question is. I'm lost.
I didn't debrief him.
No.
So basically, last time we talked was in April, and we kind of had this whole plan laid out of like I remember telling our friends, we were like, okay, we're gonna start in Indo, and then we're gonna go to Mexico, and then Nicaragua, and El Salvador. And in the back of my mind, I was like, how are we gonna pay for all this? So let's start in Indo.
All right.
How everything went.
Yeah, so we left in April? April 2024. And I don't remember what we started with. Just a boat trip with us?
Yeah, Surya.
Okay. Yeah, that was a fun boat trip with all of our friends. We spent 2 weeks in the Mentawais, had some problems with the boat. We ended up for 3 or 4 days on one of the gnarliest little boat. We had no hangout space and all that, so it was a sick trip.
It was a trip to remember.
Yeah, it was a trip to remember. There is a video on YouTube about it.
A lot happened.
A lot happened. Friends got almost like a near-death experience on the boat with a slice. He sliced himself with his fin.
Yeah.
So that was scary, but we got some swell, and then we went to Bali too after.
This season in Indo was we planned far ahead. We planned all of our trips far in advance, and we had this boat trip, and then we had some time in Bali, and then we had my girls' coaching trip, and then we had one more boat trip, all lined up long time ago. And it just so happened that this season in Indo was one of the best. Can I say ever?
No. I think there has been great season.
It was the best in a while.
For 3 weeks, it was 8 to 10
pumping
every day.
Yeah, and so we could call that luck because we didn't strike mission, we didn't plan anything really, and so the waves were pumping, and in Bali, babe did a really big air.
Yeah, it was. I ended up getting injured in Bali doing my MCL and pitted tendon.
No, you didn't. No, just the MCL.
Well, the MCL, the Indo MRI said
the Indo
otherwise.
Doctors.
Yeah, the Indo doctors are quite funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, just did an air, landed weird at Yang Yang. I don't know if you guys know where that is. It's on the other side of Uluwatu.
Yeah.
Pretty much couldn't surf for a month and a half, although I did surf because I couldn't just watch perfect barrels all the time. Couldn't surf right, only left, so just take off, getting barreled, and when it's time to do turns, just kick out.
Yeah.
That was my trip in Indo this year.
Yeah, but it ended up working out because right after he hurt his MCL in Bali, we went on to my girls' coaching trip, which was the very first girls' coaching trip that I ever had. And
which was a success.
Safe to say it's kind of had a domino effect, but we'll get into that later. But it was absolutely like it was so amazing. All of those girls have such a special place in my heart, and I don't think I could recreate that trip if I tried. I remember leading up to the trip, like I was looking at the forecast and it was massive, and I was like, oh my God.
It was the biggest swell of the season, I remember. But for the people that don't understand what's a surf coaching trip, can you give a little bit more details? Like, what is it?
Yeah. So I basically bring together a bunch of girls, which we will be diversifying soon into like co-ed trips, mixed trips, boys, girls, etc. But for now, I'm focusing on the all-girls surf trips. The niche is really, I don't want to say developed, but there's not a lot of women doing it, and there's a lot of demand for it. So I prefer a boat trip for this because you have the flexibility to go wherever you want. But I just bring together all these girls, and Tim helps me film. We trade off sometimes, but majority of the camera work is on his side of things. And then we do film analysis with all of the girls every day. And Indo is my favorite place to do this, but...
Well, it's not really Indo, it's Mentawais, because it's quite special. Like, you're on the boat for 10, 11 nights, and, well, now boats change. They have Starlinks.
Yeah,
you have
full
Wi-Fi on boats, but
Yeah.
it used to not be like this. You used to just really like disconnect and just surf good waves and really learn the people you're with. If you don't know them, you become really good friends, or not really good friends because there is nowhere to hide on boats
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah, but I think a boat trip creates such an amazing environment, especially for a group of women to like come together, and like the energy on those boat trips is like nothing I've ever experienced. I grew up with boys, and then I spent like 5 years of my QS life with him, traveling with him and all his guy friends. And there is truly nothing like a bunch of like women together, and like there's something that happens on the boat trips. I'm getting chills, but there's something that happens where everybody just is so encouraging and motivating, and like it's never like a surf trip where there's too much testosterone and guys are like fighting for waves and trying to be the big dog and whatever. It's like the complete opposite, but in the most amazing way. So that trip, like, it's undescribable, and I cried at the end of it. I could cry most times just thinking about it. And that was like, that kind of happened on a whim, just randomly. And now I ended up having one more, not a boat trip, but another girls coaching trip at the end of the season of last year. I'll get into that. And then now we have 6, possibly 8 next year. But again, we'll get into that. I want to keep going because we don't have too much time. But after Indo, or anyways, that trip in Indo went great. Surfline ended up like running a story on my girls' trip, which
created a little bit of a buzz, controversy, because you guys were trying to surf when the waves were giant everywhere, but all these different sports really were firing as well. Like I've surfed waves that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, and then we ended up surfing alone most days, pumping waves.
Yeah,
but
because everybody was trying to chase the biggest barrels and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, earlier when I was saying like, we saw that forecast and we are like, oh my God, it's going to be so big. I was messaging the girls were seeing my stories and they were like, are we going to be okay? And then like, it turned from like, are we going to be okay? Into like, I'm bringing my helmet, I'm bringing my step up. Like the girls were ready to go, which was really, really cool. So I also sold out that trip in 5 hours, which still blows my mind. Like the moment I released it, it was 5 hours and sold out.
The demand is there. The demand is there.
Yeah, so I'm just excited for moving forward with that. But through this last couple months traveling and stuff and free surfing and creating content around all these trips, we have noticed that Tim happens to be very, very talented with the camera. So you picked up a camera for the first time like a year ago.
Yeah, but it's like my mom used to have camera and I used to play when I was much younger, like 8 or 9, and she used to tell me that I had something, and I enjoyed the cameras and electronics, and it became really a passion to learn about like settings, and now I'm learning about cinematography and sound design, and it kind of snowballed into me creating my own production company, which is called Swiss Knife Production.
Why is it called Swiss Knife Production?
Well, I called it Swiss Knife Production because just like a Swiss knife, you kind of... I want to be the kind of person that do everything. Like, you don't have to hire anybody else. If you have a project, I can do it all.
Like what?
Well, then there is the filming, lighting, sound design, and color grading, color correction. I mean, this is really where you like making a movie or like any type of documentary. There is like 8, 9 people on set. You know, it's like there is people for every single aspect of making that documentary happen. And well, if you're committed and if you know what you're doing, I'm nowhere saying I know exactly what I'm doing, right? I'm just learning. But it's a cool challenge, and just excited to come out with a few things, and just check out my Instagram. Quick plug.
Well, for me, it's like it's really cool to watch you be passionate about something again, like because like we've been together now for like eight years, and you see a lot, you go through a lot with a person over that much time, and like from absolute rock bottom to finding a new passion. And like when I tell you, this man has not watched anything except YouTube videos on editing for the last like 3 years. It's crazy. It's not good for the bank account, but
Holy! If you thought surfing was like breaking your bank, try filmmaking.
Oh my God.
This is gnarly.
Every month. Babe, look at this lens. Oh, I think we need to get this one. Till all of a sudden, boom, we're buying a red. Like
Yeah. So we had a camera. So the first camera we had was a GH5, and then I just
like 3 months later.
Yeah, 3 months later, I'm like, wow, we blew it. We should have bought like a G9 or something because the stabilization was better, and for what we were doing, ultimately it was way better. So we sold the GH5 to my friends from Guadeloupe. So they try to make like surf edit and stuff like that. So we helped them out and gave them a good price. But then we were with this camera.
G9 too.
Yeah, we bought the G9 too, and then we did this whole like season and works really great on boats. To film the girls was perfect. Because try to film with a regular camera that doesn't have stabilization on a boat when it's moving. It's a nightmare. So that was good, and we still have this camera. But then at some point I was like, if that's really what I want to do, and like let's go all in. And we're working really hard, and we're making decent money. So I was like, you know what? If we're going that way, let's go all in. I'm a all or nothing person, so and I'm really passionate about this, so I think it makes sense. But yeah, buying a red was crazy.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, red is like a red digital cinema. It's like almost the best camera we could get, but the next step up was like 40 grand, so we're not going that far.
No.
No, but this camera was a good investment. Stop it.
We'll talk in a year.
God.
We'll talk in a year.
The lenses are the death of me. Those are the death because you can always get a better lens. But no, I feel like what we have right now is great, and we're moving in a great direction. For some context, we got this because a lot of my job for the last 3 years or so, since I stopped doing the QS, which I wasn't making money from anyways.
But I wasn't either, trust me. 10 years doing that crap.
Yeah. But so for the last 3 years, I was creating content for brands, whether it be like silly little TikToks or videos on Instagram or surf videos. Being a non-sponsored female surfer that can surf, there's a gap in the market for that for brands because majority of women surfers that can surf well and would create content have sponsors that are like tying them to one brand. So anyways, once I unlocked that, I was like, hey, this is great. We can do this together. You can shoot and we can travel and go surf great places. And then the coaching trip started happening. But so back to the whole 7 months we were on the road. We wrapped up in Indo after a couple boat trips and had an amazing time, created some content for some resorts over there. And then we flew straight to El Salvador.
Yeah.
I've done some work in the past for a hotel over there called Hotel Michanti in El Zonte. I love it. I love El Salvador. And so we went there. We did more work for them and their sister property. And then we went from there to Nicaragua. And this was like, August by this time? Or July?
Yeah, we finished beginning of August.
Yeah.
But so to kind of tell you like what goes on in like a deal that you would do with this hotel or these resorts is like you can either pitch them or they know you and they pitch you the idea, and so you're staying there. For me, what we did in El Salvador was insane. Like we were treated like
royalty.
Yeah, it was like, oh yep, you guys want to go to the waterfall? Yep, that's scheduled. Boom, driver picks you up at 8 a.m. Or you want to go surfing? There. It was like, and then we had like let's say like a private driver kind of. The guy was always like coming around and okay, we're going there.
Well, and on top of this, it's like in El Salvador, you can't always just like, there's places in the world you can't just like rock up with your own camera and start filming. Like that's how the locals are making their money, and you're not allowed to do that. And the guy who we were working for was like, I'm calling all my friends. These are my friends. They're good people. Don't touch them. They're going to be filming. They're going to be doing their thing. Like they're welcome. And it was crazy. They're like that time when you were filming me in Punta Roca, in that guy's property, he comes out with like a machete. And I'm like, oh shit.
Okay.
And then
No, but relax. The guy was cutting his herbs.
I know, but I just see him walking towards you with a machete, and I'm like, oh my God, like shit. And then we dropped the guy's name who we were working with, and he was like, oh, like cool, no problem. And I come back, and Tim and him are like buddies. They're chatting, like he's chopping his trees, and it was like,
yeah, you missed the point where you went in the water and then the guy showed up. Like you saw me from the water.
In this couple, he's gonna hate it, but I'm carrying the team with the Spanish over here.
Oh yeah, I don't speak Spanish at all.
So as soon as I'm leaving, I'm like, oh no, but it ended up being fine. But like because we were treated that way in El Salvador, which was really cool.
No, Salvador was cool, and Nica was epic. So we did also some work for like a French family that had a resort on Popoyo. Not Popoyo, sorry, it's Santana. Santana,
well, but they call that beach Popoyo, technically.
Yeah. So that was really fun. Then we went to Colorados. We had some okay condition, and then
it's a weird season in Nicaragua.
Yeah, it was a weird season. Eli and I had multiple fights on where to be.
Well, because I was busting my ass getting us free accommodation, like working, so we could like stay in a place, and we'd get to the place. It's like 2 days in, and Tim's like, we gotta leave. I'm like, we just made these people jump through hoops to host us, and he's like, oh, we gotta go somewhere else. I'm like, we gotta
so to give some context, there is nothing that will drive me more crazy than knowing that 3 hours away, 2 hours away, 5 hours, even maybe 10 hours away, driving, I'm not saying like you jump on the flight, but if guys are getting barreled and we're not getting barreled, there is a problem. There is a massive problem. I'll freak out. I'll go into a depression.
Yeah.
So, at some point we were not scoring, and we were doing the job and for these places, but I was like, they wanted to see some surf footage, some great surf footage that usually happens, but there is no... It's like this. Sometimes you rock up to a place and it's garbage.
Yeah, Nicaragua had a weird season.
And
like,
so
really
I was like, literally, guys are getting barreled at the Boom, which is 6 hours driving up north. And I was like, yeah, let's drop everything. Say sorry to the people you were...
Not say sorry. We were like, oh, you want good footage and there's good waves here, so we're gonna go there and then we'll come back and finish the job.
Yeah, we'll shoot the lifestyle like before and after, but let's go get barreled.
It's a good thing about working in the surf industry is like people get that.
Yeah, people get that. Yeah, and the people from
we still did the job.
The people from the Surf Link and Amaru we were working with over there. They're so chill. They're so nice.
They were awesome.
Yeah,
like. I love Colorado, so I normally recommend that place because of the consistency and like it's just like your best bet most of the time when you go to Nicaragua. This season, we ended up spending more of our time at the Boom, which I went like 3 years ago or something when I was on like a solo trip in Nicaragua to stay in Amaru and do some work for them. And obviously the work I can do now for them is so amazing with the help of Tim. So they had us come up there, and it was so good. Like literally, I feel like how do I explain this? When I go on a surf trip with him, it's like he's so hard to please, like so hard. So when he's like giggling about waves, like you giggled in Macaronis when it was pumping.
Yeah, but
and then you giggled at the Boom.
How many times you saw Macaronis like this?
Oh,
it was
never.
like 6 foot slabbing. Bro. Like some of the sets were not even. You couldn't even do the takeoff.
It was. Yeah, and now we're going back to Indo, but we got a lot of good waves this season. Let's keep it at that.
Yeah. If I just didn't surf a lot this year.
Yeah, but at least you could get barreled, and we were surfing a lot of barrels, like with your knee. But by the time we were in Nicaragua, you were feeling better.
I was feeling better, a little bit tough on the right because I have to really tuck my knee to get barrel backside.
Yeah.
So I was having a lot of struggle with that, but frontside was all good.
He also broke all his boards and then got like one of your best barrels on my board at the Boom. It's in our vlog we just posted. It's pretty.
Yeah. How do you feel about having your own editor now?
Yeah, so that's one jump we made. It's like throughout these years of like growing the business, I guess you want to call it. There's like multiple businesses that I'm kind of like working through, and then that we're creating together, and then he also has his own things, and I'm finally at a point where like we're hiring out extra help. I got a manager a couple months back. She's been incredible. And then now we have an editor that we just brought on. And I'm so excited about that, just because like making these vlogs back to back, it's fun. And it's something we really want to have 10, 15 years down the road to look back on. But it's also just like I love making content. And so editing and making them is so important to me, but we just get too busy at some point. So we recently like just reached out on Instagram and asked for some help, and we got a pretty good response, and it was really fun going through the trial. And the person we brought on is a good friend of mine, and I'm really excited to like see that relationship grow and just continue to grow our business, hire more people, and see what happens. My like team essentially and the people that I want to work with are really important to me, so I'm really excited to have that be expanding right now.
Yeah, I mean, you never really know what you're gonna do, right? Like, if my way was always like, okay, one thing only, and then we go as hard as we can to achieve the ultimate goal, which was qualify for the CT. And then today I'm like learning a little bit from you how you do kind of like 50 different things, and then some things flourish, some things die, and you just always going through the motion, right? So that's pretty cool, because if you told me before this summer that we were gonna have 6 to 8 trips lined up next year, to just give a good times to girls and make them progress in their surfing journey, and just have a good times in one of the prettiest places in the Mentawais, it's one of the prettiest places to surf. So yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I like to kind of, like you said, like pick up on, see what's flourishing, see what's taking its course, and water that one and keep the others here, and then maybe you water more here. And it's a lot, but it's also a good thing to have. So you have like, different sources of income coming from different places, and that can just be something that helps you get to your end goal eventually. So after the boom, we went to Tahiti.
I knew you were going to talk about this.
Well, how can I not? Here was the big vacation mode after the 6 months of working. By the way, those 6 months of working, what we were doing on the way, like pitching ourselves to those places, we ended up spending no money, almost nothing on accommodation. We only had to pay for flights. Like, I've been talking to my friends, they're like, how are you like paying for this? Everyone thinks we're like bawling. We're like,
well, I mean, it's a hustle.
Yeah.
It is a massive hustle.
Yeah.
Because while she's pinching brand, I'm editing photos, videos, then she's editing some things for herself, and we're just like, that's why we got an editor, because it was like, no way we can make like YouTube videos about what we're doing on top of everything that we're already doing. That's why the editor makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and like, keep in mind, these trips are like back to back. So as soon as we're like,
yeah, it's 1 week there, 1 week there, 2 weeks here, 1 week there.
Yeah, we're like trying to finish this batch and get everything sent, and then edit the vlog, and then do our own little content stuff, and then move on to the next and try to do it before we move on to the next. But yeah, that actually, it was a hustle, but it worked out. And it was funny because in the beginning of all this, when it was just an idea, we pitched a lot of places and got a lot of no's. You have to hear no a lot. And now it's like, ooh, which one do we want? We have all these people like asking us.
Not really like that. Come on, settle down.
A lot of people have asked me. I mean, I'm bragging.
not in your DMs.
I'm bragging, but I feel like we have the right to brag. We worked so hard for this. So.
No, we worked hard, and it's definitely flourishing at the right time. But yeah, now we have a lot more doors open, because we did pitch a lot of places.
We did, and a lot of the places come to us for the coaching trips, because obviously that's the most value they're going to get. It's the most like money they're going to get. It's like group trips is where people are kind of working now. The problem with that is like I will not take my girls to a place I've not experienced myself. Like I need to know what product I'm giving. So like I have to know what I'm giving them.
Right.
And that's something I've learned over time. So as much as I would love to like go and do all these different locations and different places, it takes time. I need to go to that place myself. So we went to Tahiti to kind of do a trip for us and just enjoy an incredibly magical place. Would you like to tell them what happened?
Little did she know, I had other plans. Yeah, I knew I wanted to ask her to marry me for a while, and I knew Tahiti was the last stop onto our travel. I didn't want to do it here, and there was only one place that I really wanted to do it at. It was where we met in Australia, but we didn't end up going back to Australia. So yeah, the trip, we went to California right before, asked her dad if I could have her hand, all that. And yeah, just had the ring in a sock into my backpack. And we failed a couple attempts. We hiked.
I gotta tell this story about the hike.
We hiked a couple times, and I didn't really know what to do.
This man will not walk half a mile. So he's like pressuring me to hike this mountain behind the house.
Huge mountain.
Overgrown with vegetation. Like, there's not even a trail. And he's like, we gotta hike this mountain. And I'm like, why? Like, I'm like, what is going on here? He really wants to hike this mountain. It would have been a pretty view, but like...
You did make a comment.
I
you're
did.
Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to ask me to... are you going to ask
propose.
me to... Yeah, are you going to propose over there? And I was
no,
like,
I didn't ask him that. What I did was I was making a TikTok because I love making TikToks. And I was making a TikTok of our journeys and our days in Tahiti. And I was like literally doing a voiceover. And he doesn't watch my TikToks, but he's not a TikTok person. But my mom does. And so I was like doing a voiceover and I was like documenting our hike because I knew it was going to be funny. Like there was no trail. Like we were climbing a vertical like crevice through brush. And I was like, this is ridiculous.
And I have the drone in my backpack because I'm like, okay, I know if we get up, then I can put the drone in the air. I can put the red on the side, like and just act like we're making content, right? Like act like we're getting lifestyle shot for whatever.
But in the TikTok and the voiceover, I'm like, he wanted to climb this mountain so bad. I could have sworn he was going to propose or something. And my mom like sent it to him and was like, she's on to you and all this. Yeah. But I had zero clue. I was not on to him at all. Like, I'm actually baffled about his poker face for the longest time of how I didn't know anything. And like people would ask me like, oh, you think it's going to happen soon? And I'm like, I don't think he's ready. Like, I don't know. And I just had a feeling that it was not going to happen soon.
He's not ready
yet.
Every
time I brought it up, you're like, come on, babe. Like, just like, shut up, you know? So I kept like joking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so we went to
so
we surfed Chopo the hike went...
The hike, he didn't do it, thank God.
Yeah, the hike was a big failure from my end. And
not a failure. I'm glad you didn't do it.
It looked fine from down where we were to the mountain, like it looked fine. But anyway, we ended up surfing at Chopo for a couple days, and then we went to Morea to meet up one of Ellie's friends, Sophia.
Who I met on the girls' coaching trip.
Yeah.
She came on the girls' coaching trip, and now she's like such a dear friend.
Yeah, so we went to Morea, and then we saw the whales. We went
to swim with the whales.
Yeah, swim with the whales. That was crazy.
It was my birthday.
It was her birthday. So it was like a lot of things that were happening that week. And then I think it was the first day or the second day, we didn't see the whales, and then last second we jumped, then we saw the whale for the first time, and then I was like, okay, well, it's her birthday, we saw the whales, it was kind of dramatic, and then we went home, and then, I just did it.
Decided it was the right time. But yes, that morning we went sunrise diving. So it was my birthday, I woke up kind of in a mood because of just... being a girl, was just in a mood, and I was like, we're going to swim with the whales today. I got to like get in a better mood. We went, the whale tours are like 3 hours, and for the first like 2.5, we didn't see any whales. We heard them singing, but we didn't see them. Mm-hmm. And then like we were basically out of time on the tour, and we got in the water. Our guide is like, okay, let's try one more time. She's like, I really want to get you some whales for your birthday. And we got in the water, and they were like sleeping just below the surface, and they sleep for like 15 minutes. So we knew they were going to come up. So we just waited. And then they came up, and one just like came right towards me.
Oh my
like
God,
almost
yeah.
hit me. Like another guide was like yelling at me. He was like, "Get out of the way." I was like, "I'm trying." And it literally came straight for me. I have the whole thing like on video.
These animals, I always stayed back in all the tours we've did because you never know.
Oh,
You
it was
never
so
know.
cool.
They are so big.
Yeah.
They are so big. You're like nothing in the ocean
And they
compared to
want
them.
to, like, depending on their age, I think they get more playful. And these ones were, like, juveniles. So they want to come and they swim through all the people. They get as close to you as they can. Like, they love it, I think. And so that one came right towards me. So I was like, wow, what an incredible experience. I was on this crazy high. We got back home and I was, like, editing the footage. I was all excited. And then he proposed and I was crying all day. And then after the moment kind of settled, it took me a really long time to like process my emotions. But after it settled, we were sitting in our kitchen, which like overlooked a little bay. And it just like torrential downpour.
Like 10 minutes after I proposed.
Yeah, torrential downpour. It was like a really, really magical, like really cool moment. So I wouldn't have changed that day one bit.
If anybody wants advice.
Honestly, hats off, babe. That was incredible.
All right.
Yeah, but now we are back in Portugal. We are managing our house. That is a new thing we're tackling. Is like vacation renting our house.
Yeah.
So that's been
It's been a learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good guest, bad guest. Mm-hmm. But
might as well do it while we travel a lot.
Yeah.
And now what's next? We have the new editor, your production company, and we will talk about a little bit of our schedule for next year. And then I guess we'll see you in another 6 months for the next podcast.
Yeah, we thought about like trying to take you guys on the road and have like breakdowns of
certain trips.
certain
days.
trips, yeah, but it's so much things we have. We
have
don't
too
have.
Yeah.
We wanted I bought lights and everything. I wish I can take my lights with me when I travel because that could be cool, but we have nowhere to put them. We wanted to switch to one board bag for the both of us, but at the rate where I'm breaking boards, that's not happening. So it's really hard to travel like
with boards,
this couple
camera gear
is not it.
product that you got to shoot.
Yeah, it's not it.
Yeah, so
Because I'm ending up with one short, 2 t-shirt, where you have a suitcase full of your shit.
Well, my shit's important. We got to shoot my shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. I end up with nothing.
Yeah, but you do that by choice anyways. So anyways, next year. So next year, what is it? We are in November right now. Well, the next couple of months are pretty cool and exciting. I'm excited. This winter, we are chilling.
Yeah, chilling.
That was the goal, just to relax.
Chilling. We're shooting 3 different things right now this week. Chilling.
Yeah, that's the thing that comes with the new managers. When she gets you jobs, you're like, whoa, all of a sudden you have 3 jobs. So we've been kind of going full on with like, learning more things about the camera, getting more creative with our campaigns and shoots. And thank God Portugal has been kind to us with the weather and the waves. Next week, I'm flying back to California to go dress shopping with all my bridesmaids. And I'm so excited and do a bunch of stuff with them, which it's really special that all of them are going to be like in the same area at once. So I'm really excited for that. And people are like, oh, you just got engaged. Like, why don't you enjoy it and relax a bit? I'm like, well, we have all of 2025 planned. So I don't know when you think I'm going to plan a wedding, but it has to be now.
Yeah.
It has to be kind of now. So I'm trying to chip away at that. And then I might have to go to like Hawaii or El Salvador to shoot some bikinis that I may or may not be releasing with a brand I'm working with. So I'm really excited about that. And then I'm back here. We have basically December and January to be at home, film surfing, hopefully have some campaigns and some work, take care of the house. February, we have 2 coaching trips in Morocco. Mm-hmm. And then March, we have a coaching trip in the Maldives, which still has 1 spot left. One spot left. That one's going to be amazing. I love Maldives. It's like, it's in the outer atolls, should be less crowded, diving with nurse sharks, manta rays,
And
shipwrecks.
you pretty much get your private plane to go to those islands
yeah,
too, like.
which is included in the price. It's going to be a sick one. I'm so excited.
I've never been there, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I really got into free diving the last year as well. So I just always get excited when I'm going somewhere where I can free dive too. I'm not very good at it, but I can pretend I am. And
She's definitely got the outfit for it.
yeah. And then we have Indo, which always has a special place in our hearts. We have 2 girls trips back to back, and then a friend's boat trip, and then we got to figure out what we're doing for the rest of the time we're there. Then Tim's gonna escape and do his bachelor party.
My boys.
In the boom.
My boys. It's on.
He's going to be getting super barreled, I hope. And I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do in that period.
Well, as soon as we're done with Indo, I'm planting the flag at the boom and I'm staying there. I'm staying there forever.
I have, so I'm releasing something very soon that I haven't even talked about. So you're getting sneak peek. I'm releasing a learn to surf trip with me and a good friend of mine who runs a surf school in California in June in Nicaragua. So I haven't even talked about that yet. It's going to be like email list marketing only because we have a feeling it's going to fill up really quick. Mm-hmm. Then we're like July, August, maybe back to Tahiti.
No.
I don't know. We have those open.
That's breaking my bank right there.
We are going to have bank. There's going to be a lot of bank to be broke when we get to that point.
Until she sees all the lands I'm going to get.
Oh, no. No, we don't have any more space. And then September, one more, finishing off the year in Maldives with one more girls coaching trip. Whew, that's a lot.
But yeah, well, July and August.
I've had a lot
We can just stay at the boom. It's fine.
I need a gym. I can't stay at the boom for that long. The boom is really secluded.
You can go back to Colorado's. They have a gym there. And Miami, I'm staying at the boom.
Stop it. Okay, moving on.
The boom, by the way, it's one of the funnest beach break. Really similar to Nazare. It's a little bit smaller. Only works until, let's say, 6 feet. But you don't need a lot of swell. And the wind is offshore in the morning. Then it goes...
Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. Then he goes onshore around like 10, 11, sometimes even 9. So it's really early birds, gets the worm. And sometimes he gets offshore in the afternoon as well. So,
but you need high tides.
Yeah, you need high tides or mid to high. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a particular place. But I mean, we'll definitely go back there for sure. But he knows with me, I'm never staying put for very long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then after that, it's all wedding planning.
We set a date yet?
Kinda. Not really.
26 or 25?
26, I think.
26?
Yeah, because 25 would be nice, end of 2025, because it's like not so far away. But after Maldives, it's going to be like right there is going to be the window, and we're going to have no time to plan it. So we're thinking spring 2026.
Yeah, because most likely 2025 is almost like fully booked. And then 2026, I mean...
We'll plan it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to that when the time comes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's it. And I'm just realizing I forgot to put up some fun, questions for the end to wrap it up. Can you think of anything?
Is that it? Are we done?
Well, that's the end of my list.
That's the end of your list. Just ask questions.
I don't have questions.
No?
Do you have questions? Do you have questions?
Any questions?
All right.
Well, stay tuned for me getting a Red Raptor X very soon. No, I'm joking.
I keep joking that I'm the one with the ring, but this camera is...
Yeah, she's my child.
Yeah, she can be the child. I'll be the wife.
Well, that was fun. I think we kind of went over pretty much what we wanted to share. Of course, we could have gone a little bit more in details on a few trips because there's so much happening that
That's why we
It's
wanted...
kind of hard to say everything in details.
Well, that's why we wanted to have these podcasts like after each trip so we could kind of break it down. Maybe we'll do that eventually.
Yeah.
Now that we have an editor. Maybe we will. But yeah, for now, I guess we can do a Q&A podcast at some point if you guys have questions. But for now, that's our life. That's our updates. And we'll try not to be away for 6 months for the next podcast.
Yeah, shout out to Beach House. If you guys coming to Portugal and you need some place to stay.
Beach House Rentals.
Beach House and Rentals Portugal. We got you covered.
Yeah. Nice plug. Forgot about that one.
Yeah. Shout out to Brenda.
We're great hosts.
5-star. Well, yeah. Do you want to do the... Oh, good. Should we do the outro? Or the intro? Intro?
Still going. That was an outro, and I already did the intro. Okay. Yeah, we're good.